Hello everyone and welcome back to my freak show. Today is a very special video because we honor the great Hector Manny Coto. Now most of my audience is younger than me, so you guys didn't grow up with him the way that I did. Sadly, he passed away on Sunday, July 9th, 2023, and I want to honor this man on my channel. And really quickly, side note, I don't care if you didn't like him and his work, so don't be a jerk about him in the comments. Now, links to watch all of the videos that I discuss in this video are in the description, as well as my links for the research. Hector Manny Coto was born June 10th, 1961 in Havana, Cuba. His parents were refugees from Cuba, which, you know, guys, if he was born in 1961, they had to endure Castro's reign. I mean, that just, for those of us who know, that just shows how terrible it must have been for them. Now, not much is known about Manny's father, Manuel, a doctor. Manny lived with his mother and 3 siblings near Orlando, Florida, and his mother, Norma, was a school teacher. Now, Manny, he was just like me. He loved movies, especially the horror and sci-fi genre. And as a teen, he made his own movies using his dad's home video camera. He moved to Los Angeles in 1983 to pursue his career, and he graduated from the American Film Institute. And in 1988, he sold his first screenplay to the television show Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Now, I remember watching this episode. His episode was season 3, episode 12, titled Twist, where a wealthy married man thinks that his wife is gonna die, so he cheats on her and starts living a life as if she's already dead. However, there's a twist, of course. His wife is aware that he's cheating and sets him up to take the fall for murder. This absolutely foreshadows Manny's ability to create a good twist. In 1941, Manny co-wrote and directed season 3, episode 10 of Tales from the Crypt, titled Morning Mess. Guys, I specifically remember watching this episode when I was a kid, and I loved it. Especially, if I remember it correctly, I absolutely loved the little twist at the end because it was total Manny. October 23rd, 1992, Dr. Giggles was released into theaters, in which Manny Coto co-wrote and directed. Now, this movie follows Evan Randall. He's the psychopathic son of a mass-murdering doctor, and when he escapes from his mental institution, he seeks revenge on the town where his father was caught. And the guy totally giggles all the time while he's killing people, so, you know, hence the title. And he kills his victim surgically, which is pretty scary and also cool at the same time. But this guy's got a soft side because he wants to fix the heart of our final girl. And the movie features a young Holly Marie Combs as our final girl. And remember, she's from Charmed, Pretty Little Liars, and Glenn Quinn, also from shows such as Roseanne and Angel. And it also features the talented, brilliant, amazing, incredible Larry Drake, who plays the awesome Evan Randall, aka Dr. Giggles. Now, this movie is rated only 20% with Rotten Tomatoes. However, this movie is hilariously dark and has achieved the coveted horror cult status. My dad showed me this film in the mid-90s when it was available on VHS, and I loved it. You guys can rent it on any streaming device. However, it is not available anywhere for free except for YouTube, but it's in Spanish. So I'm just gonna leave the link for that for you guys in the descriptions. After Dr. Giggles, Manny continued to write. His credits include season 2, episode 1 of Tales from the Crypt Keeper, titled When the Cat's Away. 4 episodes of the MTV show Dead at 21. In 1995, he wrote season 1, episode 20, titled If These Walls Could Talk, for the Showtime series The Outer Limits, which I saw that one too. I loved The Outer Limits, the reboot in the 90s as a kid. Loved it. 2 years later, he wrote the film Hostile Intent and directed the film Star Kid. He continued to write 2 episodes for the ABC show Strange World, 19 episodes for the Showtime series Odyssey 5, 14 episodes for the UPN show Star Trek Enterprise, 17 episodes for the Fox News channel called the Half Hour News Network, 27 episodes for the hit television show 24, and the 24 Live Another Day miniseries, and 4 episodes for the 24 Legacy. Manny moved on to other major hit television shows, such as writing 10 episodes for the Showtime massive series Dexter, the pilot for the Fox show Next, 9 episodes of American Horror Stories, and American Horror Story. So aside from being an award-winning writer, Manny was a husband and a father. On December 27th, 2004, Manny married Robin Trickett, who is a visual effects supervisor that he met on the set of Odyssey 5. They married in Venice, Italy. They had 4 children together, Manny, who was 14, Riley, who was 12, and Charlotte and Finley, the twins that are 9 years old. Manny passed away on Sunday, July 9th, 2003 from pancreatic cancer. He is survived by his wife, Robin, their children, his mother, Norma, his sister, Normie, his brother, Juan Carlos, and 8 nieces and nephews. Now, not much is known about his children since Manny worked very hard to keep them out of the spotlight. Therefore, I will continue to respect his wishes and simply wish his children a heartfelt hug and just tons of virtual love. Losing their father so young is heartbreaking and tragic. I do have some sort of understanding of what they're going through. However, I lost my father as an adult, so I can relate to their heartache, confusion, anger, depression, constant crying, wishing that daddy was still here. Yet, I'm an adult with a full understanding of death and the ramifications that come with it. Manny's children are literally that, children. And if they ever see this video, I want them to know that we give our sincere condolences and hope that they can try to maybe try to find some kind of normalcy so they can move on and be the best people that their dad wanted them to be. I never had the privilege to meet Manny Coto, but I'm positive we would have hit it off and been horror movie besties. Now that you all know who Manny Coto is and how successful his career and personal life have been, let's talk some of his work and, most importantly, his work on AHS. I do have to say very quickly, go watch Dr. Giggles or some of his other work. What I could find for free, again, I have listed in the description. Dr. Giggles was total camp, and I haven't watched the movie since the mid-90s. I don't remember how it ended, but I remember how much I enjoyed watching it with my dad. Great quotable puns, excellent acting by Larry Drake, incredible camera angles. I mean, they were just outstanding for the early 90s. Just campy horror, and the film never took itself seriously, and it made this movie a must-watch for anyone who just hasn't seen it. Personally, I'm glad to hear it has such a new following due to its release on Blu-ray and being covered, by credible YouTubers such as Joe Blow. Maybe when the time comes, his other films will be re-released and receive the appreciation they generally deserve. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying that Manny Coto is a flawless writer. Yet he did write many incredible projects that outweighs movies such as Star Kid. Now, from one writer to another, I have to say respect. Now, this is going to move us into what I'm sure is going to be our most controversial section of this video: American Horror Story and American Horror Stories. Now, I've read the comments that have been left in my reviews of the episodes. I can honestly say that more than half of you did not like the episodes that Manny wrote, but I beg to differ. And in fact, let's review those episodes that he wrote for the show, starting with American Horror Story. Spoiler warning, guys, and if you do not want to be spoiled regarding American Horror Stories or Story, please fast forward to the timestamp on your video right now. Okay, let's start with Season 8, Episode 3, Forbidden Fruit. I have to say, Manny Coto, you wrote for Season 8. That's like an automatic strike against you in my book, okay? But in your defense, you only wrote 1 episode for this season, and, it was the one with the apples and the return of the witches. so I'm not going to judge you too harshly for it. I mean, at least you didn't write the episode where Mallory freaking killed Michael with a stupid car. I mean, so I understand what you guys say in that aspect. Season 10, Episode 5, Gaslight. Okay, this episode had me angry and gave me so many feels, because this is the episode where Doris was done dirty. Damn good episode, guys. You cannot say anything else negative or nasty about this episode. It had so much power in it, especially for what we felt about Doris. I haven't gone back and watched the episode. I know there was much more in it too, but loved Gaslight. Season 10, Episode 6, Winter Kills. This is the finale to the first part of Season 10. It was, a decent ending, and though we didn't get very many answers, there were also plot holes left open, but it wasn't as bad as, the rest of Season 10. Season 10, Episode 7, Take Me to Your Leader. Season 10, Episode 8, Inside. Season 10, Episode 9, Blue Moon. Season 10, Episode 10, The Future Perfect. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. In my humble fan opinion, this part of Season 10 did not appeal to me at all. Once again, I felt there was so much potential, but we had more questions than answers. Storylines came out of nowhere and were suddenly dropped without resolution. Most of the characters were not properly developed. And I mean, let's be honest, Manny pretty much wrote the entire second half of Season 10, and I honestly did not enjoy it as much as I did Red Tide. Season 11, Episode 2, Thank You for Your Service. And finally, Season 11, Episode 3, Smoke Signals. Now, both of these episodes set up the season, and aside from Gaslight, are strong episodes. Though we must understand, Manny is writing with more than one person, writing one script to coincide with the flow other writers have created. Therefore, I don't judge his work on AHS as harsh as many do. Okay, so with that being said, let's just move on to the section where I prove my point, okay? American Horror Stories, Season 1, Episode 3, Drive-In. Can you tell me one person who didn't love this episode? I mean, a movie showing where it's rumored to drive those who watch it crazy. Oh my god, let's dive into this real quickly. If I remember correctly, and I'm sure that I do, this episode was the one that finally kicked off stories as something good. Blood, gore, crazed, mindless killings, and John Carroll Lynch. I mean, you can't complain about this episode. It even makes my voice squeak. It did remind me a lot of the episode of Cigarette Burns from Masters of Horror, but with less people in their birthday suits and woohooing. But I loved the take on it. Great episode. Season 1, Episode 4, The Naughty List. Okay, this episode wasn't perfect, okay? I will definitely give it to you guys there, but it was a great episode. Two social influencing douchebags getting what they deserve on Christmas by Danny Trejo. It was almost like a nice Christmas treat for me when I got to rewatch it on Christmas Day. It was absolutely worth watching and just rewatching multiple times. Great episode. Season 1, Episode 5, Ball. This episode was co-written with Ali Adler. Now, I personally loved this episode because it featured Billy Lord in the lead, and the story premise was interesting. I didn't really see the twist kind of coming at the end, if I remember correctly. Again, I should have went back and watched these episodes. But if I remember correctly, I didn't see the twist with Ball happening at the end. And so therefore, I liked the twist. Again, it always reminds me of Manny Coto and his great twists. I know a lot of you don't see it, but let's keep going and let me show you, of course, how I'm proving my point. Season 1, Episode 6, Feral. Guys, let me just tell you something real quick. Let's just be honest with ourselves right now, okay? Cody Fern in the woods at night. Mic drop. fantastic episode. Now remember, guys, the first 2 episodes of season 1 were atrocious. These episodes that Manny wrote didn't involve the murder house, and it gave fans what the show promised. An independent show featuring American Horror Story with little American Horror Stories, such as Black Mirror, Twilight Zone, and The Outer Limits. And we finally got what the show promised with Manny's writing. So therefore, I must point out that Manny Coto actually followed the promised formula for American Horror Stories. So let's move on to season 2. Season 2, episode 1, Dollhouse. Okay. This episode shook everyone, snatched their weave, gave them feels, and was the talk of the internet before and after it aired. Manny wrote Spaulding a little backstory that managed to keep the character in the background while we focused on other main characters. Then, when his identity was revealed, we were shook. Okay, so huge credit to Debbie Ebby for starting the theory that episode 1 would mention Spaulding, you would so right. And huge credit to Manny Coto for writing this episode. You guys seriously need to give him some love. He deserves it. Let's move on to some more love. Season 2, episode 2, Aura. Another great episode with great actors and a decent little twist. It's hard to fully develop characters while progressing the story in such a short time. And I think Manny did a fantastic job with this episode. And let's just be honest, I really liked the twist at the end. The husband was a piece of crap, and I'm glad that he went where he belonged. Season 2, episode 3, Drive. This episode wasn't the best of the season, but I enjoyed watching Bella Thorne, and I enjoyed the twist at the end. Sure, a blind person could have seen the ending to this episode, absolutely. But Manny's writing delivered the storyline where you doubted if Bella's character was the killer or not. You had to go back, you had to think about little facts in the episode. It actually made your brain work. That's very much what I enjoyed about this episode as well. And then when it was revealed that her character was the killer and her husband was going to get in on it, I don't know, that just made me happy. That they're going to be a happy family doing this. I don't know. I'm so sick, but it made me happy. Season 2, episode 6, Facelift. Now, guys, as an older woman, I personally enjoyed this episode. Wrinkles are coming hard and fast on my face, and I'll do anything to keep my youthful appearance. However, I won't do that. You know, maybe I'm super lazy or judgmental, but I'd rather stick to my beauty skincare routine of L'Oreal skin creams, hashtag not sponsored. And this episode struck fear in the hearts of everyone. Looking too closely at those new lines that are shaping around our mouth, our nose, our eyes, and our neck. And in my opinion, ooh, that's just damn good writing to actually hit your older targeted audience that started with the show rather than the new millennials. So, love it. Season 2, episode 8, Lake. Now, this episode was absolutely good and had some great actors. It wasn't as great as the rest of the episodes that I listed above, and if I remember correctly, I think in my review, I said this episode should have been in the middle, where others should have been the finale. I think I put too much hoopla into this, too much expectations into this episode and hyped myself up, and it didn't pay off. But Manny does know how to deliver a twist in such a limited time. And I did enjoy this episode when I rewatched it after the season aired. So without all the pressure of the episode being the finale, everything was over, I was able to just enjoy it and roll with the punches and be entertained for 45 minutes and enjoy that twist again at the end. In conclusion, Manny Coto was a great writer, director, and human who achieved cult status with Dr. Giggles and made a big name for himself in Hollywood and with his family. His writing contributed to making many shows and movies, including American Horror Stories, successful. In fact, y'all, his episode Dollhouse is the highest rated episode out of both seasons so far. And as far as I can tell, it's going to stay that way for a long time. Now, it is a loss that this man is gone, but he will always be remembered through his work and his children. What are your thoughts on Manny Coto? Which of his movies or episodes are your favorite? Thank you so much for watching. As you all can tell, everything that he did was my favorite, so I loved it all, especially season 2 of American Horror Stories. And he was the one responsible for doing our Doris dirty. For that, Manny, I can't forgive you, but I will love you. It's like a love-hate kind of thing. Anyway, guys, subscribe if you want, like the video if you would like as well, and of course, beware of sexy scathage. I don't know about y'all, but over here in Texas, this heat, woo, it's gonna make her even more dirty and desperate.
Beware of sexy scathage.